Today it's a pin cushion just because pin cushion was a high demand. So I had to really have it as the top priority, so that at least you won't have your pins all scattered. Okay. So these are actually two different sizes of pin cushion that I have. We'll make the smaller one because I think so you all are going to use, one is the small size is good enough. Okay.
Yeah.
But the other one, I stuffed it actually less in this one. When we made it for the hub, we stuffed it we didn't make it very hard, like thicker like that, but it's totally up to you people how much stuffing you want to put inside. Okay. So this is what we are planning to do today. That's a pin cushion and it's so comfortable, but don't put your needles over here. Okay. What happened? The needles goes inside. It hasn't got a head. So then when you press it like that, it might accidentally, prick you on your finger. So never use it. And if you want to use it for needle, then just go and lift it up and then leave it hanging with the thread on. So then you're sure that, and then the problem is the threads start getting entangled with the pins. So it's not a good idea to do it when you want to put your spare needle. I like putting it around this, so that it stays on one of the spool. So I'd asked you people just to get a piece of paper so that we draw it properly into a square. Because what happens when I ask you to do it on a fabric, it sometimes goes crooked, your lines, and then you're drawing on top of another line. So then the size doesn't work. So it's a good idea, just have a plain paper or whatever, flyer, whatever you have. We'll just draw it over here, cut it, and then place it on the fabric and then draw and then cut it. Okay. So because we need two pieces, so it'll be two layers. So just to save fabric, it's a good idea to do it on a piece of paper. I do have a transparent ruler. This is actually for fashion. Okay, so this is generally, I call it a zero. Okay, one of the corner, you just do it like a zero. And now we are going to make a square. So let's do a size 5. So just let's draw this as a 5-inch. And whenever you're drawing, it's always a good idea to do two dots. Okay, see, I'm not drawing a line, but I'm just doing one dot over here, and you just put a dot like that, because right now we are just doing the width of the pin cushion. I know there's no width and length because it's a square. Okay, but just to make a right square, we always put two dots like that. And this is your starting point. You come over here, you do this, and this is your 5. And now from here to here, again, go 5. So now once you get that, again, put a good dot, okay? And then from here to here, you put your 5. So once you get these 4 dots, which you are sure that these are the right ones, okay? And now you can draw your square. So it's 5 by 5. And just to check whether you got a square, see, when I'm talking about a pin cushion, this is exactly how you make your big cushion. Okay, so the concept is same. Whatever I'm doing, I'm not talking about the cushion cover. I'm talking about the base cushion, okay? The one that you have a cushion and then you put a cushion cover over it, okay? So the idea of making a pin cushion is following the same steps when you are making a big cushion. Now for the class, we are not making a big cushion because we need a lot of stuffing, okay? So we may not have that much stuffing at home. So we are making a pin cushion, but the concept is same for making a big cushion. Okay, so now just to be sure that your square turned out good, fold your paper from this corner and come and join it over here, okay? Just fold it, okay? You don't have to press it, just to be sure that you got your square right, okay? So when I'm pressing it, so if you see, my lines are matching with the one I'm folding the paper. So it means my square is good, okay? Once it's good, it's checked, it's not crooked, your lines or anything like that. See, when I drew it like this, so see, all my lines are matching. Okay, and when I open up, so it's exactly a square. So now once you have done that, now you can cut your square. Always try using a paper cutting scissors, because by cutting paper, you damage yours. Okay, so now I have a square. Okay, so now you have to get whatever fabric you are going to make it on and put it on that fabric. So I'm using again the same print, Because what I do, I'll be making these questions, I'm going to take them back to the hub, and the students, they are going to use it for pinning, because in the beginning we just had 8 students in our class. So they made 8 pin cushion, and that's what we have been using it for almost like 2 years, you can say. So I'll be adding on this because we have got some new machines. So we're going, might have 12 students whenever we'll open up the hub. Whenever we are sewing, we like doing it on a cotton fabric, because when you are using a stretchy fabric like your t-shirt fabric and all, we do a zigzag machining. Okay, so this I'll let you know later on, but we are not going to use this. We are just going to make small pieces, and we are going to stuff the cushion in it with it. Okay, so these are scraps. We are supposed to recycle, not throw these clothes in the garbage. So if you have any old skirt or something cotton, you can even use your old fabric from your old pajama or something like that. But it shouldn't be a stretchy fabric. You can make your pin cushion with the scrap also. Okay, so you don't have to go and look for a new fabric. You can use an old fabric also, old bed sheet, old pillow cover, whatever is not torn in, like a little bit, whenever something tears off, it tears off more, it gets used up in the center. But generally the corners of the pillows remain in a good condition, okay, because the head is not there. So you can use those corners also for your pin cushion. Okay, so my pin cushion has got stripes, and it has got like this. Okay, so what I can do, I can fold this fabric. So that's the reason I'm having, it's the same fabric, but I'm having a print over here. But when I fold it, I get this as my back side. So now what I'm going to do, my print is going like this. So I'm going to fold my fabric. So I have much more closer. Okay, so now I can have it. I want to use this as my center of my pin cushion. Okay, so if I want this as a center, I can use this, I think so. So whenever I want something in the center, what I can do, I can fold my paper into half, okay, like this. And if I want this print to really come as a center, okay, it's a good idea. That's if you have a print. If you have a small prints, you can place it anywhere. What Sangeeta is wearing, her top, you can place it anywhere. Okay, but my pattern is so big. If I'll place it like that, I might cut off this one. Okay, so what I really want this one to come in center. So whatever is the center of my this part, I'm going to put it like this. Okay, my fabric. So I'll be drawing and matching, and I have stripes. So I have to really match my stripes also, so that they don't go crooked when I draw my lines. Okay. And then for this one, you need a tailor's chalk, or you can use a ballpoint if you don't have a tailor chalk. This is a tailor's chalk. And I'm really going to find the center of this print. So it's 2 inches, so 1 inch will be my center. So when I'm placing this, I'm matching my stripes over here. So this is good for me. Now I want to cut the back side. Just because it's got stripes, I'm planning to do one by one. But if you people have got a print, what you can do, you can just fold your fabric, okay? You can fold your fabric from here, fold it like this, place your pattern like that. So we basically need double fabric. So I am planning to cut, because I can see my stripes, the folding. Okay, so I'm just checking just to be sure my folding is good. So now once I put in the fabric, so for me, it's stripes, so I really am matching good. Okay, so now with the tailor chalk, you can just go like this. Or you have a ballpoint, you can just draw your line. And be careful about the corners, okay? The corners really have to have a good line. Okay? And I'm folding it, I'm saving time, and I'm getting identical 2 pieces.
Yeah.
If I do one, I do another one, it might be that may not be exactly 5 by 5. You might have with your tailor chalk or pen gone a little bit over here. But when you have to sewing 2 pieces, at least they're identical because you cut them together. That's the reason we say cut to and folding, you save the fabric. You see, I'm not doing it exactly, because what happens, I've seen people doing, you know what, I'll show you what they generally do. They'll put it on the fold, and then what they do, they love doing like this, cutting through. And when they're cutting through, their scissors are not sharp blades, it goes crooked. So it's not a good idea. That's the reason we fold the fabric. We are wasting a little bit, but that's fine. Instead of going like that, because this only experts know how to go straight.
Okay.
You might make it a zigzag, jaggedy kind. We don't want that. Okay. So that's the reason I moved always a little bit away from the fold actually. Okay. So when I'll be cutting, I'm sure to cut perfectly. Okay. I'll be wasting a little bit, but that's fine. See, I'm wasting this fabric. Yeah. So what you can do, you can have one print over here and you can have a second print over here.
Yes.
That's basically the idea, because I told you that luckily my fabric has got two different kind of prints. So I have a top, I have a bottom, but you can pin up anywhere. And one lady had a Minnie Mouse for to put the pins head, and she had a small nursery print of the Minnie Mouse, on the back side. So it's a good idea. You can have two different prints. Okay, that looks cute. That looks cute, So you have two like that. Okay. So now this is, now finish off your cutting, and when you feel that your fabric is not sticking, you can pin it, okay? So that while you're cutting, your fabric doesn't move over. For me, it's a good cotton fabric. It doesn't slide. So I'm just cutting without pinning it up. So when you're cutting checkered, whenever you're showing me a fabric, don't separate them. Keep them together. So because when you're keeping them together, your checkers are going to really match, because you remember you folded the fabric, and whenever we are cutting checkered, just like a stripes, we need to first straighten our checkers into straight line and then fold it. Okay, so you get your checkered going in a symmetry. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a square and you have all your checks, squares like that. So if you have not straightened your fabric, that's another way of cutting fabric. You first straighten all your checkered and then you fold. So what happens when your cushion is done, all your lines, the symmetry would be there. Okay. So now you have your square cut. So now I want you people to set up your machine. So you have your sewing machine. I want you to set it up and put your matching thread. So I'm going to put a cream color thread. So whatever you have matching, you can do it. And before we start doing our sewing, I want all of you to have an opening, because see, it's a square. We can't stitch it all around because we need to bring it inside out. So what I want you people to keep an opening. Never keep an opening at the corners. Okay, always go in between. When we do it in the corners, after you fill it up, we have to sew it like that. Okay, this is a student's work, not my doing it. Okay, but I can show you when I did it with the class. Okay, we will be closing this opening. So this opening is from here to here. So now in anywhere, wherever you want to keep that opening, it's a square. So just keep an opening. I'm planning to keep this as the pattern as my opening. So opening should be like 2-inch kind. So you can have it anywhere, but just have 1 inch away from the corners. So 2-inch can be here, 2-inch can be here. That's no problem at all. Okay, so this is my 2-inch opening to put in your stuffing. So you have already have this, and basically we'll be doing a 1/4 inch stitching. All my previous students, they know what a 1/4 inch stitching is. This will be our stitching. We call it a seam allowance. So this will be a part of our stitching. Okay, so let's go to our machine. Once you have this, and grab both the fabrics. Okay, I'm putting the pin like that, just to hold the fabrics together. You don't have to pin it in the corners or something, just anywhere. Okay, but away from your sewing part. So I'm just pinning up my like 2 like this. Okay, so that both the fabric stays good. So I'm just pinning randomly in the center like that. Okay. And now we can start our sewing. So everyone knows a thing called backstitch. I know we have newcomers in the class, but just to let you know that this is our opening. Okay, so we are not going to sew in this area. So I'm going to start from here, because then I can see my 1/4 inch sewing. Okay, whoever they've already attended my class, they know what I'm saying. It's your presser foot as your guideline. Okay, the leg of your presser foot will be your guideline. That will give you a 1/4 inch sewing allowance. Okay, so now this is my starting point. I'll start a little bit ahead because we are going to do a back stitch to lock up our thing and come in the corner, pivot. So before we reach the corner, remember, a 1/4 inch, you've got to stop, pivot, and then turn your fabric and then keep on going a 1/4 inch. Again, coming in the corner, but don't come till the edge of the fabric, okay? Just remember, stop a 1/4 inch. If you feel you don't know, you can use and mark your 1/4 inch, okay? But don't exceed. Pivot is very important when you are making anything square on a sewing machine to take out your corners, okay? These are the corners which really need to come out good. So that's why pivoting is used. Okay, so now let's start off sewing. So I'm going to start off a little bit ahead. You can see my blue mark. So I'm going to start a little bit like that, do my back stitch and then come forward. So now we are going to do a back stitch. First, check all, because, I don't know how many people have used the machine. Check whether it's in a straight line sewing, not a zigzag, and your stitch length is good. It's not gathered. Okay. Stitch width, we don't need to worry because we are not going to do any zigzag sewing. So that is not there. See my corner, this is the edge of my fabric. So I'm not going to go till the edge of my fabric. I have to stop a 1/4 inch before, okay? So I'm just about to reach, I haven't yet reached, for me it's still 3/8 of an inch because I know that's now I've reached a 1/4 inch. So this is called pivoting. When you leave your needle inside, you lift your presser foot up, okay? The needles has to stay inside, okay? This is called pivoting, and you come like that, okay? So L shape. And now I can put my presser foot down and the needle is already there. And again, I'm going to sew a foot as my guideline and sew my 1/4 inch, okay? So once you have reached the corner, I'm going to go and start sewing now and come again to my other second corner. So if you people are not comfortable, you can't control your foot pedal so well, you can always stop a little bit far off and just do manually, okay? 1-2 stitches do manually so that you don't come to the edge of and go back. It doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work good. And now all of you have started sewing with me regularly in the class, and I think so now you know where to stop to get your exact a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So again, now the corner, my needle is inside. That's very important. Again, I'm pivoting. I'm going on the other, now the third corner I'm going to go to. Same steps, actually, it's all same steps to make a square. And always check the bottom of your stitching also. That is it so good, or is there any looping happening? If there's looping happening, it means you didn't put your bobbin right way. Okay, so let's do now the third side, okay? Let's come to the corner. I'm again pivoting, coming. Now I'm reaching the last corner where that line is, okay? Opening, see, you can see the blue marks, this blue marks, okay? That's my opening. Now I still have to sew in till my blue mark. Okay, so this is my openings over here. So I have to sew over here. I have to come till this line and then do a back stitch, just 2 or 3 stitches, okay? And now I've reached my blue line. Now I'm going to do just back stitch 1, 2. That's it. And I'm good to take it out now. Okay, so you're pulling it. I have a thread cutter on the sides. I'm going to cut that off and keep my threads long. So I can cut off that extra threads now because I've done the back stitch, so it won't come out. Now you can take your whatever pins you had. We don't need them now. So now you'll see we have the opening. So before we take it inside out, we need to cut off the corners. Why we cut off the corners? So that the sharpness, the points, the edges really come out good, the corners. How do we cut it? Some of the students, they know, like we have done so many times, the corners. So they know what I'm talking about. This is what we'll be snipping. So the snipping generally is like in a diagonal way. Okay. And this snipping is away from my actual corner. So I'm not cutting exactly on the corner. So basically whatever you have, suppose it's 1/2 inch, the same 1/2 inch, and then you just draw a line. Okay, so now basically what we are doing, we are just cutting the corner so that all the bulkiness is taken out. And then when we are taking out the points, the corners come out good. Do the same for the rest of the 3 corners too. But be careful, don't do it exactly at the corner like that. So all 4 corners are cut off. Now what we can do now, we can bring it inside out. So let's take it inside out now. So push in with your thumb, grab any right side, okay, just to bring it out. That's why we keep the opening a little bit big. You can go a little bit narrower too if you don't want to do the handwork more. So keep on taking it out like that. And then you can use a pencil to take your corners out, okay? I have the other lead pencil. It's a little bit pointy. I don't want to use that. So I'm just using a screwdriver, small one, to take my corners out. First you pull out completely and then you can find your corners. First just take it out and then you can just push your corners out. Okay, so see that corner is out. Don't use pin to take it out, okay? Because the pin can tear off the corner. Just use a little bit blunt thing and to take it out, push it, out the corner. So all my 4 corners have come out. All of them are out. That's my other side. And this is my opening. Okay, now the opening is needed even to fill up now your pin cushion. I'm going to use the old t-shirt for that. So polyfill is a polyester kind of a filling that they have. So I'm just going to snip it and show it to you. Okay, so this is polyfill. When we were growing up, the actual cotton was used for filling up. But as polyester came in the market, much more cheaper, and this can go in the laundry, the cotton can become clogged. It doesn't work out. So this is what nowadays they're using for filling. It's called a polyester filling, polyfilling, okay? Polyfill. So this is what you people can use. If you have some old soft toy, you can use this to stuff it. Let's use and recycle our stuff. So how do you do it? So the pieces that we are going to cut, we don't want a bulk like, oh, just put one whole t-shirt inside, cut it into a thing. No, it doesn't work out because it needs to be balanced, how you want the cushion to look exactly like that. So, okay, so that's the reason we want to get small pieces rather than getting small pieces. You will say, okay, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut. No, just cut a straight, okay, wherever you want to start with. If you want to use the sleeve area, you don't want to use your body, you want to save it for something else, start off with the sleeve area. Okay, so see, this is an old t-shirt I have of my daughter. So what I'm going to do, I don't want, suppose, the sleeve area, I can just cut it off like that. Okay, and I'm just going to cut roughly, you can say 1 inch a square. So, okay, so I'm cutting roughly 1 inch. You don't have to measure it, but because I'm a sewer, I know what 1 inch is all about. Okay, so I'm cutting a strip like that. So you cut more strips. Okay, keep on cutting like that. We need scraps, so it can be any length or anything like that. Okay, so I'm cutting it, and the t-shirt fabric is hosiery fabric is the best for filling in. If you have a hard cotton, if I'll start using this, what will happen? It won't come softer like that. It'll be too stiff, and the pins may not go inside nicely. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. But if you have this soft fabric inside, the stuffing gets much more easier for you to do it. Of course, with the polyfill, it's perfect. You can use your old pillow or old toy. Just take out a little bit to stuff your thing, okay? But I'm just giving you another idea that you can use. And once this is cut, now what I'm going to use, I'm just going to cut like this. So these are like little bit squares, rectangle, whatever. But these are good, like, okay, you keep on cutting. So the whole class, everyone used the old t-shirts. I had already told them to cut into scraps so that we don't waste time in the class, but this was the first class, so I couldn't mention it anywhere, but just do like that. And then we are opening them up. Okay, we open them up like that. We are not going to leave them doubled. Okay, so just open them up and keep them on the side like this. This is your stuffing that you'll be using. So what happens now, I'm making a ball of it. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just cut. Now you're saying we are not going to cut it. Okay. I'm not going to just.
No. If we cut it into strips, like you cut it into strips, right?
Oh, no. We yeah, the strips. The strip is also the same problem because what happened, it bunches up somewhere. Okay. See, now when I'm putting it like that, so even if you cut it into strips, okay, I'm going to put this strip now. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put this strip. Okay. So this strip will still go a little bit uneven. Okay. It will collect somewhere. But when you are doing these pieces, what they do, they start sticking out, spreading out, and you can press and spread them out like that. And
Okay.
now, don't forget, we have just cut little bit. We need lot of stuffing inside. So you
Yeah.
keep on doing, you use your, this is basically just to encourage people that this t-shirt had holes. My daughter gave it to me, So what I'm saying is I'm making good use of it. I'm not, and when this goes into the landfill, at least it gets dissolved. The polyfill will never get dissolved. Thousands of years, it's going to stay in the land, earth. This still decomposes because it's cotton.
No.
Okay. So we are thinking about the planet. That's the time we come up with these different ideas for people to follow. Okay. Yeah. So you keep on doing like that, but just like how I said, it's totally your own choice. I'm just giving you idea. So you just fill it in, and you need lots. In the class, we had already cut. Everybody brought it into small boxes and we just stuffed it. We didn't waste time showing it. So I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. I'm just giving you the idea of how you can put this out. But right now I'm going to show you how to close it. Okay. So I'm just going to use this polyfill only. I'm going to take this polyfill and I'll show you the difference. That's what I'm saying. You can fill it. You can make a little bit bigger squares also. It will get stuffed nicely. See, see my stuffing. It is nice. Pins can go inside nicely. I'm showing with this t-shirt only. So see, your pins goes inside nicely because it's a soft fabric. So I'm just showing you a corner just to save time that you people can experiment in any way you want to. So right now I'm just taking polyfill from here because I left the polyfill bag in the hub, because now it's closed. So I couldn't go and get, but this is what was from that bag. Okay. This was from my last class that I filled it up over here. So this is what you need to do. So just push it in between. This goes definitely faster because it's polyester, it gets pushed in. Okay. Okay. So you just check how much thickness you want. Okay. That's totally your own choice. This is really tightly done. This was done in the school, like the hub. Okay. So this we really made them do tight, and they did their hand stitching. Okay. So they did the outside stitching, but I'm going to teach you slip stitch, which you people have already done your hand sewing. The students, just like how I said, they all were beginning. We taught them different ways, but they tried their own ways, which is still fine as far as they are happy with it. So you fold in like that after you finish off stuffing. Okay, you finish off and you balance your stuffing with your finger inside, because sometimes what happens, it can get crowded in one corner. Okay, so just with your finger level, keep on pressing, to see where it's not bulkiness. And if it's bulky, just spread it with your finger inside, and again press it. Okay, so you really have to balance it before you close your opening. Okay, so once this is done, you're happy that everywhere it's same. Okay, and then get a matching thread to your fabric and do a double thread. And I've taught you slip stitch in the hand sewing class. We are just going to do that. Okay, so all of you thread the needle, and then we'll start sewing. For cushions, when you are going to have a cushion cover, you can do your machine. But when you have stuffed it really
But
tight,
mine ain't stuff yet.
you can't sew it. You need the zip foot. Okay, the
Okay.
zipper foot. Then you can do it, because the zipper foot will stay on one side and allow you to do it. Otherwise, you can't do it. So hand stitch is good. And just like how I said, the cushion cover covers it, but the pin cushion has got no cover. So it's a good idea to just finish it with your. So once your needle is ready, okay, so now the stuffing, just like how I said, do it in your own sweet time. Stuff it nicely. And what you people can do, even when you do a slip stitch along with me, you can always snip it off and fill it up. So yeah. So now when you are doing it, if you remember, we did a 1/4 inch sewing. Okay. So our folding in has to be a 1/4 inch. And the same from the other side also, fold in a 1/4 inch so that your square remains the same. And generally, when you pull it like that, it tends to come same. But now you have filling inside. Okay, so push in a little bit of filling so that you have space enough to fold it nicely. And once you are happy with that folding, that you got your 1/4 inch, I always say put a pin, so that it doesn't open up as you are doing your slip stitch. So just pin up on the folded part like this. So once you have this, the opening is closed. Now you can go slow with your hand and needle. So this is where my opening is. You have to find your opening now. Okay, the opening starting point. So for me, this is the starting point. Okay, and I have to go in like this and finish at this end. I need to hide my knot inside. So you push your needle inside. Okay, and don't, if you remember, we have already done a back stitch. So we don't have to worry, it won't open up. And I'm going to use a thimble to do my stitch. Okay, that's a thimble to protect your finger. When my fabric is a little bit hard to push it in to do my slip stitch. So thimble is always a good investment. You get a steel thimble. Yeah, actually that's my personal one. It's in my machine. This somebody has donated. It's a painted one. Okay, so the thimble has a small, like, so they basically have a small holes to hold your, the needle end. So my knot has to be hidden inside. Okay, so I have my knot. I'll push the knot inside. So it's hidden now inside. Thread is already out. So if you remember in the slip stitch, when I taught you, you are taking from this fold. Now you have to bring in your needle on the other side of the fold, parallel to it. Okay, parallel to it. And then again, I'm pushing the needle inside the fold and I'm pulling it out. This is exactly what I taught you in the hand sewing class, that how you can repair your jackets, snow jackets, when they're ripped off. Okay, so this slip stitch was taught for that reason only, how you can repair your jacket when it's ripped. Okay, so now I have my needle out on the other fold. So now I have to bring it opposite to the second, the fold over here, pass my needle again through the fold. This is really the best stitch, I think so, which is so helpful for all expensive kind of garments where you have linings. Yeah, so now it's on the other end. Now again, we'll bring it in the opposite side and you keep on doing it. Okay, so now this whole opening is going to get closed. And while you are doing it, just keep on pulling it tight so that the opening doesn't come out, loose, the stitch. And that's it.